I am a good teacher. These students are going to learn. Let's have a good day. Oh, you're already here. That was funny, huh? Oh, so welcome to my class. My name is Slybot, and I will be your new teacher. Oh, I think it's a little bit loud. Could you keep it down, please? Yes, that's much better. Like I was saying, I'm Slybot, and I will be your new teacher. Let's get ready because it's math time. Hello, class. And our first concept is going to be 1.1 in Discovery Education textbook. And this concept is investigate signed numbers. In mathematics, the sign of a real number is its property of being either positive, negative, or zero. Depending on local conventions, zero may be considered as being neither positive nor negative, or it may be considered both positive and negative. If no sign is shown, the number automatically is considered positive. On a number line, numbers to the right of zero are positive. Numbers to the left of zero are negative. We have rules for signed numbers. These rules can be represented with the number sign or a hashtag. So the hashtag represents number. And in the first example, a number plus parentheses another number equals a number plus a number. In other words, this is a positive number plus parentheses another positive number will equal a positive number plus a positive number. In the next example, a positive number minus parentheses a positive number can also mean a positive minus a positive number, or a number minus a number. In the third example, a positive number plus parentheses a negative number can be translated into a positive number minus a positive number, or a number minus a number. In the last example, a positive number minus parentheses a negative number represents a number plus a number, a positive number plus a positive number. In this special case, we need to remember that a double minus sign, a minus and a minus, will change the sign into positive. In the third example, a plus and a minus sign makes a minus sign. So we'll look on to our first example. Order the four given temperatures from warmest to coldest. We are giving 0 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 4 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and positive 4 degrees Fahrenheit. In a thermometer, the positive numbers are in the top part and the negative numbers go below. So for this example, the correct order of these numbers would be positive 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 4 degrees Fahrenheit, and negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. 0 being in the middle, positive numbers on top, and negative numbers on the bottom. For our next example, choose the equation that represents the charge of an atom with an equal number of positive and negative charges. We are giving 4 examples. 3 plus parentheses negative 3 equals 0. Minus 3 plus parentheses negative 3 equals 0. And 3 plus parentheses 3 equals 0. 3 minus parentheses negative 3 equals 0. And we only have to figure out which of those makes sense. We can simplify these by saying in the first example, 3 plus parentheses negative 3 equals 0 is 3 minus 3 equals 0. For the next one, minus 3 plus parentheses negative 3 equals 0 would mean minus 3 equals 0. For the third example, 3 plus parentheses 3 equals 0, we just represent that 3 plus 3 equals 0. And for the last one, 3 minus parentheses negative 3 equals 0, we can make that 3 plus 3 equals 0, remembering that a minus and a minus sign makes a positive sign. And for the last step, we only have to figure out if they make sense. So 3 minus 3 obviously is 0. 3 minus 3 equals 0. For the next one, minus 3 would be negative 6. That is not equal to 0, so this is the wrong answer. 3 plus 3 equals 6. In our example, it says 3 plus 3 equals 0, which does not make sense and is incorrect, so that must also be wrong. 3 plus 3 equals 6, again, not 0, so for our last example, it is also wrong. The only correct answer that we could possibly pick from these options would be 3 plus parentheses negative 3 equals 0, because that is 3 minus 3, which is also 0, and that is the only correct answer. For our next example, the Springfield Friends Foundation collects donations of money. They spend every dollar they receive on programs for different community charities. Donations are recorded as positive values. The cost of programs are recorded as negative values. For the last month, the records show that the foundation received donations of $250, $1,000, $500, and a fourth donation that was incorrectly recorded. The foundation used all four donations to fund a program. The cost of the program was listed as $2,000, and they had nothing left over. What was the value of the fourth donation? So we can write this problem down as $250 plus $1,000 plus $500 plus a mystery fourth donation, which we can just represent with a question mark, and all of that had to equal $2,000, which was the total cost of the program, which is given as $2,000. We add that amount in the left side and we get $1,750 plus, again, the fourth donation, which we don't know, and we represent it with a question mark, and it all equals $2,000. To figure out what that fourth donation is, all we have to do is subtract $1,750 from $2,000. $2,000 minus $1,750 equals $250. So the fourth donation, which we didn't know, has now resulted in $250. And to make sure that we got the correct answer, all we have to do is continue adding the numbers $250 plus $1,000 plus $500 plus $250 we just figured out was the fourth donation, and that should equal $2,000, which it does. And that is the correct answer. For our next example, choose a number line that best represents 2 plus parentheses negative 3. We draw a number line, and in the middle of that number line is a number 0. To the right of the number 0 is positive numbers, and to the left of that number line are negative numbers. To represent 2 plus parentheses negative 3, we start from the number to the left, which is the number 2. From that 2, we need to figure out how we represent minus 3. Again, we have negative numbers on the left side. So from the number 2, we have to subtract 3, which we would have to represent by moving to the left. From 2 to the left, 1, 2, and 3. And we end up in minus 1. We can simplify 2 plus parentheses negative 3, and that would be 2 minus 3. And we also get negative 1, and that would make the correct representation. Similarly, in the next example, what is the distance between negative 6 and negative 2 on a number line? Again, we have 0 in the middle, negative numbers to the left, positive numbers to the right. For this one, because we need to figure out the distance, we have to plot -6 and -2. The way we figure out the distance would be by saying from the number -6 plus how much distance, or a question mark, equals -2. And again, to figure that number out, all we have to do is -6 plus question mark, which is the distance, equals -2. We add the 6 to both sides, which eliminates the -6 from one side, and add it to the -2. So we have question mark equals 4. -2 plus 6 equals 4. And now we represent it in a number line to figure out that distance. From 6, we move on to -5, -4, -3, -2. And yes, there are 4 spaces between from the number -6 and -2. The distance would be 4. For our next example, match each math problem to its equivalent. So we have 4 plus parentheses -3, 3 plus parentheses -4, -3 plus parentheses -4, and 4 plus parentheses +3. And for our first example, 4 plus parentheses -3, we can just eliminate the plus sign and the parentheses, which would make 4 minus 3. For the next example, 3 plus parentheses -4, we can do the same thing, eliminate the plus in the parentheses, which leaves 3 minus 4. For the next example, -3 plus parentheses -4, we can also eliminate the plus in the parentheses, which leaves -3 minus 4. And for the last example, we have 4 plus parentheses +3, which in a way we can translate it to being 4 minus parentheses -3, because 4 minus parentheses -3 is a minus and a minus, which also means 4 plus 3. 4 plus parentheses +3 can be represented by eliminating the plus in the parentheses, which is 4 plus 3, but 4 plus 3 can also be represented by 2 minus symbols. 4 minus parentheses -3. A minus and a minus is a plus. As of January, the city of Boston has experienced 7 fewer inches of snow than had been forecast for the winter. If a snowstorm is expected to drop between 4 and 12 inches of new snow this week, which range of values would represent the total amount of snow compared to the winter's forecast? If we know the forecast was 4 inches and 12 inches, the reality was experience of 7 fewer inches, which are -7 inches and -7 inches to the forecast. We can easily conclude that 4 minus 7 equals -3 inches, and 12 minus 7 inches is 5 inches. Since we are asked which range of values would represent the total amount of snow compared to the winter's forecast, so the winter forecast has given us a wrong number, 4 and 12 inches, we can easily change that with what is actually experienced, which is 7 fewer inches, and we just have to subtract that number to both the initial 4 inches and 12 inches that we were given. In mathematics, the additive inverse of a number, a, is the number that, when added to a, yield 0. This number is also known as the opposite, sign change, and negation. This simply means changing the sign of the number and adding it to the original number to get an answer equal to 0. The following situations are an application of the additive inverse property. A neutrally charged carbon atom contains positively charged protons and negatively charged electrons, positive and negatives, which equal to 0. A model rocket flies meters into the air. It falls meters before it hits the ground. A model rocket flies up into the air, and in the same distance, it falls back down, resulting from going up and going down to 0. And for our last example, Abby's school is 6 blocks west of her house. Her mother works at a store that is 4 blocks east of her house. Use a number line to model the location of each building relative to the others, where east represented by positive numbers and west is represented by negative numbers. What value represents the difference in position between Abby's house and her mother's store? First, we draw a number line with 0 representing Abby's house, to the left negative numbers, and to the right positive numbers. And we are told that to the left will represent west and to the right it will represent east. So first, we travel 6 blocks west, so 6 units to the left, and that represents her school. And that can be represented by the number -6. From there, we know that her mother's store is 6 blocks east. We have to move from -6 4 units to the right, and that can be represented by -2. We are asked what value represents the difference in position between Abby's house and her mother's store, which we figured was -2. The way we figure that one out is we have Abby's house represented by 0. We need the distance, which is the question mark. Right now we don't know, equals from -6, which is her school, plus 4, which we knew that we moved to the east to her mother's store, and from -2, how much do we need to move from her mother's work to her house, which would be -2. From 0 to -2 is her mother's work. From 0 -2, or 2 units to the left, is her mother's work. And that is the correct answer. And that concludes our lesson for today. Self-destruct in 10.
Please push the red button. Yeah, the red button. Just push it. Yeah, the red button. Push the red button. Okay, come on. The red button. Push it. You're gonna let it self-destruct? If you subscribe, you're forgiven for trying to destroy the world.